Gonna put quarter panels on, gonna put doors on. My man Tio said he ain't scared of it. Gonna fix the dents in the roof, trunk deck. There's the quarters. Alright, now welcome back to the channel. What? Another day, a few more dollars. So I've had a guy go through and comment. He said maybe you should incorporate some of you working on customers' cars into your videos. He said we'd watch it. So if y'all would watch it, comment below and let me know. I'll go through and start videoing me doing jobs like this. This is how I pay for the race car. Look right here. This thing right here started out as just putting a junkyard motor in it. Well, we got the junkyard motor put in it, fired it up, and the back 3 cylinders wasn't running on it. Well, this is a 2016 motor. This is a 2011 vehicle. We got to messing around with it and realized that we had swapped the intake. Right here, this pile of stuff. We swapped the intake from the 2011 onto it because the 2016 had a plastic intake. So you had to switch to a metal intake, that goes with the vehicle. Well, I didn't realize when this motor broke a rod, it didn't just break a rod, it disintegrated a piston. Like it went all back up to the intake and all. So it must have been running the crap out of it when it blew up because it's a pretty violent explosion. Well, it had piston in the intake. And what happened was, when I fired it up, the piston fell into tried to fall into the cylinder. It didn't fall into the cylinders. But what happened was, it had gone through and hung the valves open on these 3 cylinders. As you can tell right here, there's no damage. This was a low miles motor. Nothing had hit. But we had, I pulled the heads off it and the valves were hung open with chunks of metal. Billy said, that's like a chunk of piston. So I looked at this motor, I said, well, the piston looks good. I said, man, that motor blowed up. I bet the piston. I went out and looked through the hole, and you can see piston down in it. So it's a pretty violent blow up. But like I said, this right here is what I do. I do stuff like this. This is how I make my money to go racing. Those and the cars. And then over here, we got a little Dodge, little Jeep. I've done heads on this thing before. Well, these motors right here, a 3.7 and a 4.7, are notorious for dropping valve guides. The valve guides in them, they get hot on the front cylinders on one of the corners, and they'll drop down. Well, we fixed that. Well, they drove it for about 2 years, and they said they blew the head gasket on it. So I don't know whether they had a leak and they didn't fix it or what. This thing got about 300,000 miles on it. But I got to tear it down to see why the head gasket blowed on that thing. And we got this little 22 RE for a guy Nikki works with, Greg. Ended up putting a brand new motor in it because the motor was in it was smoking like crazy. In one of my previous videos, I think you can see me behind Billy, and this thing's smoking. Well, we're putting a motor in this one, and Billy's outside in the cold right now doing a power steering pump on a Silverado. So that's what we're doing. That's what we do. Say that hole right there was the one that was pumping the oil. Yep, that right there, see how gooey. But that's what it is. We got my car in here. We're going through and got it ready, pretty much loaded, ready to go. The issue I am having an issue with it. The back 2 cylinders here, the push rods are hanging the valves open. I loosen them up, it has compression. I tighten them up, lose pressure. So I put some shorter ones in it, still didn't, but we're gonna order some shorter ones for it and change them around. I got 1 on this hole and 2 on that side. That's the same thing. But I got the hood fitted. I went ahead and put my air tube on it, and I went ahead and Zeus fastened all my Zeus's on. So now all that's permanent. Well, I said, it looks bad. Put my new door handles on because we broke the door handle this past year. I'm gonna paint the lot black to match it. So I like the base model look. Like I said, it's going to Nigel's today. Nigel's car's coming over here today. So I'll be ready to do some body work and get that thing right. I still need to clean the windshield on this thing, but check this out. So I'm the type of person that always, you know, I support people that support me or my friends. So you know what? Here's what I did today. Still got to paint that quarter glass. Look at that. Wow. Put some BTR on the side of this thing. Nigel used to have a sticker light on the side of his car, and I always liked it. I always thought it was cool looking. So I decided to Well, John had it on there. Nigel don't care. If I decide to go on and cop it and steal it and throw it on the side of it, because we don't, you know. Brian Tooley's always been good to us as far as like Nigel and stuff like that. They've always helped them out, stuff like that. I've always seen that they helped them out. When they featured my car one month in their little magazine deal that they do, their little article, they use my car for it, so I appreciate them. So to show back respect and appreciation, I said, you know what? We're going to throw the old BTR on the side of that thing. Like I said, I like it. It's cool. If y'all need anything, y'all looking for any good deal on parts, you know, Brian Tooley up. Brian Tooley Racing, that's where we get. That's who does our cam. That's where my heads come from, my crank, my rods, all that stuff. It all comes from BTR. I get it through Nigel, every bit of it. So like I said, support the people that support you or help you or cut you a deal on parts, because they didn't have to, but they have, and I appreciate them. That's what makes all this possible. Well, got the heads back today. Let's see if we can magically make all this stuff appear in YouTube fashion. See it go together real quick. So I figured I'd film a little bit of this. So I've done put my head on it, done torqued it. So the way these motors work, this side is the left bank, even though it's your right bank at it, but it's left bank because the crankshaft forward. If you were standing at the rear of the motor looking forwards, that's left side, so that's left bank. So you get your left tensioner and put your cam phaser right here on the left. The exhaust don't matter because the two exhaust ones are both, they're both the same part number. So what you do when you come set the timing chain on a motor like this, so you have L and you have R. It's being the left bank. You use that phaser there, that dot there. You use the silver link to the left one on that side. Then you come down here, you look through that hole and make sure that you can see both silver pieces, not just half of it. But if it's half of it, you're a half a tooth off, or you're a full tooth off. You can be one way and barely see gray. So make sure you can see gray through both those. Then these tensioners, you got to load these tensioners. Let me show you something real quick. These tensioners have pieces like this right here. So you put a pair of pliers right on the back of it, and you twist and push this in until it locks. If you don't, you'll damage these. You'll collapse that. You just try to stretch it up on there. So anytime you take some of these tensioners apart, these were brand new. And then a piston, basically the other motor had blown up, so we used the intake off the other motor. I didn't realize the piston had come apart in it. Well, the piston come apart, so I put the intake on here and fired it up. 3 valves got hung open from pieces of piston. Luckily, it didn't damage the motor. But like I said, on this right here, you just grab this and you just twist it until it locks. Kind of same kind of concept as like a shock on a motorcycle. When you raise it up down, you got these little heels right here. You just get it to where it locks. That's what it should look like when you collapse it. Then you stick it back in the housing and bolt it up on here. Now, I'll make sure that dot's there, that dot's there, and the silver link is there. You'll take a screwdriver, and you'll come in here, and you'll pry against it. You just gotta go, let's see if I can, sorry about that. You gotta get down here and get it to unlock. That should be good. It can't come off there. Sorry about the camera trying to video. I'm more worried about working than I am videoing. I got to torque these at 54 feet-pound, and then I go through and I'm gonna go ahead and get my other cam in first. I'll torque it all together once I get it there, but we getting there. All right, so now we got the last chain up on here. I got to pull the tensioner tight, but if you look, you got the R for right bank, intake, exhaust R. Come down here, you can really see right up in the edge there. You see that little dot? There's a dot there, but there's also, if you see that big old circle behind of it, and that marks it. That's the dot and that's the dot. Unless you know that you're dead on where you should be at. So I'm gonna kick the tensioner out on it. We'll be good to go. So now I got my timing system right. Valve cover, side cover on it. Things in time. Starting like a motor again. Start putting my wiring harness on. I got finished installing the high pressure fuel pump over here. Fuel lines and all on it, on that part. I put a wiring harness on it. Clean the intake out. We'll be ready to put the thing back in today. You make sure if you have a blow up, you check. Look at all that metal beside this intake. Try to get it to focus. It's full of metal down in there. Man, y'all check out this $500 Jeep, $800 trailer, $100,000 race car. Look at this. Y'all ever seen a freaking $13 tow rig towing something fancy like this? Check out this thing right here. Look. Look at that carbon. Look at that thing. Look at this race car. Look at it. Look at that thing. Would y'all pull y'all's race car on this open trailer like this? She bad, ain't she?
Good. I've been for a minute. This fiberglass door's cutting my leg. Well, get on up in there now. You got the steering wheel on the brake. Good.
I got the steering wheel.
Get out of gear.
How do you work this transmission?
Just pull back on the shifter.
It's reverse.
Alright, that's fine.
Does it have brakes?
Hit the brake. Okay, let off of them. Turn a little left. Straight. Hold the brake. Come on back. Come on back. Brake. Come on back. Brake.
Ooh, it's cold.
Alright, come on back. Alright, straight.
Yeah. You look good in a race car, bro.
Let off of it.
That's the kind of race car my Caden's gonna have one day.
Just give them straight. Straight, no, straight. Right here.
Okay.
I know that. Alright. Left. Alright, go off the brake. Okay, good. The tires is straight. You gotta go straight with it. This one take it. We're going. Just straight. Is this straight? Go back. Turn right. Right.
What you think, Caden? You like this race car?
Freezing.
You're cold?
Yeah.